perfect guest for right now is Ann Coulter. She's you've seen that she's angry at President Trump about no wall, and now we are being faced with an invading column from Honduras is marching on the Rio Grande. What do you make of this, Ann Coulter?
Well, I guess it gives your president a chance
my
to fulfill a campaign promise.
My president, says the author of In Trump We Trust. By the way, Matt Drudge, your other friend, was giving you a bit of a needle last week when he printed the story about you and Trump getting into a shouting match, and then he illustrated it with a cover of your book, In Trump We Trust.
That was a great book. I wish the president would read it. Go back to the glory days. What a campaign. They'll be studying that at the Kennedy School for the next century. Wait, before we get on to the sad betrayal of the Trump base, right before I came on, what was I listening to? It was you were broadcasting from the Kennedy Party House,
and that was from the archives back in the 90s when he interviewed John Farrar, the scuba diver.
That was the 25th anniversary. When the broadcast was finished, and the owner of the house said, "That was great, Howie. My phone's ringing off the hook. People want to rent the party house. Do you want any souvenirs?" And I said, I got my eye on that ice bucket. It looks like it's 60s vintage. And so he said, it's yours, Howie. So I have the ice bucket from the Chappaquiddick Party House at my house, Ann.
I love you for keeping Chappaquiddick alive.
Have you seen the movie? We sent you the screener.
I know, thank you. I haven't yet. I'm a very busy. I'm speaking in New Orleans, and it's on an all new subject. So I've been researching that, and I have my column, and I just started a new book.
You've got to check out the movie though, Ann, before Friday. It's an amazing movie. It's really did a good job.
I'm dying to see it. Who's the producer of it? I've been talking to my sort of New York entertainment friends, and they're all saying, "How does this movie get made?"
Byron Allen. He used to be a comedian in the 80s. Remember him? He just bought the Weather.
I don't.
He just bought the Weather Channel for $300 million.
Oh, God bless him. I do know from my casual acquaintance, in general, comedians are, as a rule of thumb, the only smart people in Hollywood.
Well, he seems like a pretty smart guy, and he apparently, they did try to stop him. He told Variety that, quote unquote, very powerful people tried to stop him. And
kidding.
My prime suspect would be Chris Dodd, the former senator and drinking buddy of Ted Kennedy, who was also...
Oh, that's right, head of the Motion Picture Association or whatever.
Of America, right? MPAA, right. I called him on Friday, and I said, is he the very powerful person? No response. So today I said, I'm going on Martha McCallum's show on Fox at 7:45, so if you want to say anything, if you want to deny it or confirm it, get back to me. But, hey, Ann, as the old country song goes, when the phone don't ring, I know it was Chris Dodd in the MPAA.
Well, I'm sure that was one of legions. I mean, Hollywood has had, what is it now, 40 years to make this movie. It took Leo D'Amour, as you know, the first one to actually do a serious investigation of Chappaquiddick. He apparently, I guess this has come out now, but he was in AA with the cousin that Teddy tried to get to say he was the one driving the car.
Joe Gargan, who just died in December, and nobody even noticed it in Boston.
Wow, well, that's kind of a big story, and they became friends, so that's how he was first put on to what the true story was. And what that took like 20 years to get the truth. I wrote in one of my books, the guy who happened to be the New York Times reporter who happened to be in Martha's Vineyard the weekend this happened. I believe it was James Reston.
He owned a paper.
Called in his article to the New York Times, and the first line began, tragedy has come again to the Kennedy family.
Right. There's a quote.
Really? How about the Kopechne family.
There's a quote in Senatorial Privilege, which has now been reissued as Chappaquiddick, and Regnery is sold out of it right now. They're going back. They're rushing back to it with another printing. But there's a quote in there from Scotty Reston, and he says, I think he says it to Leo DeMora. He says, "I'd like to tell you the truth, but they won't let me." This guy's the head of the Washington Bureau of the New York Times, one of the most powerful journalists in the country. They won't let me? Are you kidding me, Scotty? Come on.
And they wonder why we call it fake news.
Yeah, but you got to check out that movie, and it's coming out. It's coming out on Friday, and it's and the book's already out. And again, you can order the book from my show, HowieCarrShow.com. Click on store. We have a few copies left. They gave us. I think
you should do another broadcast from the Kennedy Party House. We can get there and start conspiring over who's going to primary Trump in 2020.
You know, Ann, I'll tell you one thing though. I slept in the Party House. It's not haunted, or at least I didn't see. Maybe I just don't have the paranormal ability to see any ghosts. But I didn't see anything happen in the Party House.
It's such a horrible thing to laugh about, but for Pete's sake, it's long past.
Yeah, no, I'm
not the one who killed the girl. I'm not the one who covered it up.
No, nor am I, Ann. But anyway, let's talk about this invasion from Honduras. What should the president do?
He should invent a time machine, go back, and start working on the wall on November 9th, the day after he knew he was about to be president and had one major campaign promise to fill. Incidentally, people are always saying, oh, the wall, it's just a metaphor, it's a metaphor. And in a sense, it is, which is to say, it stands for all of his promises on immigration: the imposition of E-Verify, the end of chain migration, the end of anchor babies, the end of taking more than one half of the entire world's refugees. We take more than the rest of the world combined. But it also means building a physical wall.
Well, I mean, don't you think he's pretty angry about what's going on with this column of? No,
I think he's angry that his scam is being. No, I think he's angry.
You think it's a scam, though? You think? I mean, again, the courts are stopping.
Scam is being exposed, and that is the only thing he is angry with, and he's going to try to keep it going by sending out tweets saying he wants to build the wall, and he's so angry with the Democrats. Look, he's a builder. It is 100% within his authority to get this wall built. He's the commander-in-chief. He doesn't let anything stop him when he needs to install a golf course in Scotland, when he needs to put a skating rink in Central Park. That was part of the beauty of Trump. He's a builder.
But when he tries to build a golf course in Scotland, he doesn't have some moonbat justices appointed by Barack Obama and Bill Clinton on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issuing these ad hoc injunctions to stop him. I mean, he's dealing with
there. Wait, stop. Let me respond to that. No, actually, Judge Curiel, the one he said would not rule, would be biased against him in that Trump University case, threw out the only legal case that has been brought against a wall. He hasn't tried. No Ninth Circuit District Court judges, who will be overturned, have ruled against him on the, quote, Muslim ban. They haven't ruled against him on the wall because he hasn't started.
Well, didn't they tell him that? Congress.
That they would?
Congress stopped. Congress stopped him.
Lawsuit.
Wait a second. Congress stopped him, or the Democrats and the rhinos like Paul Ryan. They stopped him in this omnibus budget bill. They said that he couldn't use any prototypes of the wall that predated, I think, last year. Which means they want to use all the prototypes for the new wall that won't work, right? I mean,
they want to use those prototypes for the walls that the omnibus request requires him to build in Egypt and Afghanistan and various other countries. If only he were the president and could either sign or not sign the bill. And if only he were the commander-in-chief and his job were to protect America's borders, not Egypt's borders, not Syria's borders, not Afghanistan's borders. No court and no legislature can take away from the president the power to protect our borders. And I wrote about this. I said this. I praised him. This was one of the beauty parts of his campaign. Everything except repealing Obamacare is 100 of his promises is 100% within the authority of the executive.
Well,
he can do all of it without Congress. It is BS. And by the way, 2 weeks after the election, I was writing columns warning him, you're not going to get it done if you appoint these people. Somehow it won't be anybody's fault. They'll blame Congress. They'll say it can't be done. But somehow there will never be a wall built. And if you want to, you can either, impress the New York Times and Goldman Sachs, or you can make America great again, but you can't do both.
And didn't you write the immigration platform that appeared on his website?
No, I think that was Stephen Miller. I did read it before it went out and made a few helpful suggestions.
Oh, you edited it. You didn't write it. You were the editor on it. Okay.
Well, not exactly, but it was magnificent. As I said at the time, it was the greatest political document since the Magna Carta.
Well, listen, do you still, a texter wants to know, do you still believe that Trump is e pluribus awesome?
Not if he's not building the wall, and it sure doesn't look like he's building it now. It looks like he's just going to see how long he can take his voters for a ride. Maybe he'll come around, and I think it isn't helping to have these Cro-Magnons saying, "Oh no, it's 3D chess," and just applaud everying he does. I mean, Cro-Magnons? You got to put some pressure on him.
Did you call us deplorables Cro-Magnons?
No, I'm calling the people who go around claiming every time he destroys his presidency. No, it's really some complicated plot that will somehow inure to it. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. He's failing right now. The presidency isn't over yet. He can still come back and do it. But, people who voted for him shouldn't be cheering every time he betrays them. And this is a total betrayal for him to sign that bill. It is a total betrayal for him not to build the wall. And to pretend like it isn't, he can come back. And as I told the New York Times, if he does, I'll start a committee to put him on Mount Rushmore if he builds that wall. But right now, if you want to make a bet, I don't think we're getting a wall.
Did you really? Are these reports true, or are they fake news that you got into an obscenity-laced screaming match with him?
Oh, that came out a couple of months ago, and I leaked to no one. It came out about 6 weeks after I had the meeting, and he swore first.
So where was the meeting?
In the Oval Office.
And he swore.
No, I'm telling nothing. This has been reported.
So what did he swear?
No one anything. I said, you're not doing what you promised to do. Where's the end of NAFTA? Where's the wall? Where are the deportations? What are you doing? Talking about the Dreamers. To which he responded. And please edit it. I appointed Gorsuch, and I said that doesn't count. Jeb exclamation point would have done that. Rubio would have done that. You can't. How is your presidency different from what Rubio would have done?
When did he start swearing? What was the swear that he did first? And please edit
he
it.
does listen. Well, he wasn't. He's been following my tweets. So when I walked in, he said, "Oh, the great betrayer," and that's how I got going. I said, "Speaking of betrayal,"
and to which he responded.
No, it was a thoughtful exchange of information. It was only around minute 20
that the flurry of
that it got a little more rancorous than the two people who had brought me in. By the time I left, they were back against the walls as if they had no idea who brought this woman in.
Who might those two people have been?
You probably have a pretty good guess. I don't think that leaked. I'm not sure. But look, I'm saying nothing that has not been published, as far as I know.
All right.
And I tell no one anything.
You know nothing. I didn't see you, and you didn't see me, Ann, today. Okay.
But once it's been leaked, it's been leaked.
All right, Ann. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. And the title of your book is? Do you still want people to buy your current book?
Yes, because it's a map for the guy we're going to primary Trump with.
Oh God. Okay. Thank you, Ann Coulter. In Trump We Trust is her book. I'm Howie Carr.